Hey everyone, welcome back to our series of SQL interview questions and answers. This is the fifth video in this series and today's problem statement is write a SQL code to find employees hired in the last n months, days or years. And this is the structure of the input table using which we have to write a SQL code. We are going to solve this problem statement with the help of three inbuilt date functions. Those are curDate, timestamp difference and date subtraction. First of all, we will learn about these functions, then we will use them to solve the problem statement. First date function is curDate. The curDate function returns the current date as a value in the format as shown on the screen. The synonyms for curDate are current date and current date along with a bracket. You can verify by executing the below query, which will give the same result. Next date function is timestamp difference. This function returns the difference between two datetime expressions in the format of the unit mentioned. And the syntax for this method contains three arguments where the unit argument determines the unit of the result, and the following are the valid units which we can pass in this function based on our requirement. Begin and end argument can be any date or datetime expression. Next date function is date subtraction. This function subtracts a time value or an interval from a date or datetime value, and the syntax for this method contains argument where the date argument is the date that you want to subtract a value. Expression is a string that determines an interval value that you want to subtract from the date. Unit argument determines the unit of the result, and the following are the valid units which we can pass in this function based on our requirement. Now, if you have understood all three date functions, it's time to use them to solve the today's problem statements. So let's jump to a MySQL workbench and create this input table. I have already created employee table using the above script. You will get the script in the description box of this video. So let me execute this one. As you can see, we have total 26 records. Now, using this, we have to solve the today's problem statement. So these are the steps which we are going to follow in order to solve today's problem statement. First of all, we will select all the records from the employee table. Then we will filter the employees who are hired in the last 9 months, and we will add one more column called as a diff to count the difference between the months. Then we will order the record in a descending order of the hire date. Okay. So before that, let me show you the today's date by executing this simple query. So today is August 23, 2024. From this date, I want to write a SQL code to get employees who are hired in the last 9 months. Okay, so let's follow the same steps here. First of all, I will select all the records from employee table. Let me execute this one. As you can see, we are getting all the records from the employee table. Now, I want to filter the records for those employees who are hired in the last 9 months. How we can do that? Using a where clause, where hire date is greater than or equal to. Here I will use a date subtraction method. Okay, so let me select this one. As we know, it will ask two parameters. First one is the current date, then it will ask the interval. So here I will use interval of total 9 months. Okay, so let me execute this query. As you can see, we are getting all the employees who are hired in the last 9 months. Along with this, I also want the column which will tell us the month difference. Okay, so what I will do, I will add one more column here in order to find a difference. So I will use here timestamp difference. Okay, so timestamp difference, and I want the difference in the format of a month. So I will use here month unit, and after that I will use here hire date, because from this hire date I want to subtract the today's date. Okay, which is current date. Okay, now I want to give name as difference. So let me execute this one. As you can see, we are getting the one more column, that is the difference column, which is giving us the month difference from today's date. Okay, now I want to order this record, order by hire date in descending order. Okay, so let me execute this one. As you can see, we are getting all the employees who are hired in the last 9 months. Okay, now as for your requirement, you can also change this code for a days and year. Let's consider I want the employees who are hired in the last 200 days. So what I will do, I will use here 200, and in place of a month I will simply use a day. And here also in timestamp difference, in place of a month just use day. So what it will do, it will use the difference in the format of a days. So let me execute this one. As you can see, we are getting difference in the format of one days. This is how we can solve this problem using a date time function. When we execute this query, employee table from the interview DB will kept under the execution using a from clause. Now this employee table is filtered using the conditions which we are mentioned in a where clause. Then the select clause will select the columns from the employee table. And lastly, order by clause is used to order the records in the descending order of the hire date column. This is how this query will execute step by step. This is all about in this video, guys. If you really like this video, then like this video and share this video with your friends. Thank you so much for watching this video.